Hello there, Pat Taylor here, putting on my Yeti hat today because I'm getting all nostalgic for the good old days. Getting a lot of letters lately from my readers asking it's the same old question they ask all the time. What would drive a man to spend so much time alone in the wilderness? I mean, everybody likes camping. Some people like it enough to go spend a week or two of vacation, but 6 years in the largest wilderness in the lower 48, spending whole winters in broken down wooden cabins with no running water or electricity? What makes a man do that? Which is a fair question. Especially when you consider that I'm a city boy. Yeah, I was not born a mountain man. I grew up in Fort Worth, Texas, in apartment buildings and suburban tract homes. Didn't trust farm animals at all. Got chased by a chicken one time across my grandma's place. Was always scared of horses. There was absolutely nothing in my early life that would indicate a predisposition for solo adventure. I mean, I liked Daniel Boone and I liked Davy Crockett. I remember seeing Jeremiah Johnson when I was in high school, and that stuck with me. But I grew up pretty much like everybody else. First part of my life was textbook. Wanted to be a family man, got married, became a husband, had children, became a father, 3 lovely children. And I adored that life. I embraced that identity. I'm a father, I'm a husband. And I thought the right things and I behaved appropriately. Then I built a business so I could provide more, so I maybe attained some financial independence, and that went great, Another identity. Now I'm an entrepreneur and as well as a husband and a father, and that was great. Until it fell apart. And when it came unraveled, so did my identity. It was disorienting. I wasn't a successful businessman anymore. I wasn't a successful husband. I didn't even know what I was going to do next. It's kind of like when you're getting close to retirement, I think. You've been doing all the right things and suddenly your life changes and you're not sure what you're going to do with the rest of it or what to do next. You get a little anxious. What if I picked the wrong thing? What if it doesn't work? Which is folly. We're free to be all the things we want to be. We can live the lives we imagine. And don't worry too much if the first try doesn't get you where you want to go. You're free to try again. That's how this works. Happiness isn't that destination. The joy comes in the pursuit of happiness. It's chasing the things that light you up, that keep you happy. In my experience, I'd forgotten that, but I remembered it right then. So I committed to it. I'd been reading a lot at that time, trying to stay out of trouble, and I was reading Lewis and Clark. Everything I could find on Lewis and Clark. And about the 4th book I bought, it occurred to me that this was a little different. Something about this subject was catching my attention, a little glimmer there, a sign. So I chased that. I pursued that thing that made me happy. And to make a long story short, I decided I was going to retrace the route of Lewis and Clark through the Rocky Mountains. Not the whole thing, because it was mostly civilized, but that section through the Rockies was wild. And I'd had some mountain experience. It seemed like the right idea. And I did it. I sold pretty much everything I owned, and what was left I put in a storage locker. I put my money in one bank account and used a debit card to pay that storage bill for however long I was gone, wherever I might want to be. And I turned my phone off. No, actually, I shut my phone off, and I completely detached from the life I'd had before. I committed to my new goal because I knew enough to know that Providence never really intervenes until you demonstrate your faith. You have to commit to the project to expect any kind of magic to happen. You got to leap, and the net will appear. And I did. It was a wonderful adventure, and when I finished it, I didn't have a long-term plan. I just planned to cross the Rockies. I'd put my faith in the good Lord to show me where to go from there. Didn't need to know how to be happy the rest of my life, just how to be happy right now. I'll figure out the next chapter when I get there. And when I got back to Salmon, Idaho, to my cousin's place, she was all excited. She was a bookkeeper there in town and had some customers, and one guy ran an auto parts store. You're not going to believe this. She's in there chattering away. Oh, my cousin just came back from the Lolo Trail. He walked the Lewis and Clark Trail from Hamilton, Montana to Kuski. And there's a fella sitting out in the lobby waiting for his truck to get finished, and he overheard her. He said, "Did I hear that right? Did you say your cousin just walked the Clearwater?" "That's right. Put in Hamilton, went up through the Selway Bitterroot Wilderness, caught the Lolo Trail, followed it all the way down to Kuski. Just got back 3 days ago." He said, "Wow, he's going to be in town for a couple of days. Here's my card. I'll be here till tomorrow afternoon. I'd like to talk to him. I might have some work for him." Can you imagine? I didn't know this guy. I had no idea this was coming my way. Turns out he's an outfitter with a ranch maybe 4 miles from the wilderness boundary. He had a place right at the edge of the Frank Church Wilderness, and he wanted me to caretake it when he was gone for the winter. He was going to pay me to hang out in the wilderness. One thing leads to the next. It's amazing how life can work. I took the job. He taught me all the things I needed to know to live the Jeremiah Johnson life. Taught me how to pack horses and mules, how to carry equipment through the wilderness, because you can't have machines back there. He gave me access to places back there, a ranch 30 miles from the wilderness boundary, 70 miles from the nearest village, as remote as you can possibly be. And I stayed out there an entire winter. That was when I hit the culmination of this Jeremiah Johnson dream. And it was January 2016. I remember it well. I was sitting out in front under the shade tree. Of course, there wasn't any leaves on it. It was January. It was a leafless shade tree. But I could see across the pasture, across the Middle Fork River at the Rocky Mountains. It was spectacular. Crystal clear, cold blue sky. I could hear the Loon Creek bubbling over here on my right. And it occurred to me that I'd found peace. It's the kind of thing monks chase for years. They sit in meditation for God knows how long, hoping to find peace. And I found it sitting in a chair at the Simplot Ranch in the middle of nowhere. It was the result of pursuing my happiness. And that's the message. I'm not saying the mountains are going to work for you. They don't work for hardly anybody. Even the other mountain men I knew were not interested in doing the stuff that I was doing. But it was what lit me up. It's what put fire in my soul. And when you chase the things that light you up, you're going to have a similar experience. I'm confident in it. I'm confident. I've done a lot of experiments, extreme experiments, with living my authentic life. And I've kept lots of notes. And I'm at the stage now to where I'm anxious to share that, or certainly interested in sharing that with people who would like to do the same things themselves. You could send me an email if you want. We'll talk about it, or you can make a comment right here, right down there below. Make a comment. Tell me what you're thinking about doing. Tell me what you're worried about, where you are in the planning process, or whatever. We're here to talk about living the lives we imagine. It's going to be a lot of fun. Like and subscribe to the page, like you do, so you don't miss any of these episodes. And I'll see you soon.